Welcome back to the deep dive. And if you're new here, welcome to the stack. This is the place where we take, a whole mountain of sources, novels, white papers, articles, all that stuff that usually just gathers dust, and we try to strip it all down.
We're looking for the signal in the noise.
Exactly. And today that signal is it's coming from a very dark frequency.
Oh, yeah. It's a distorted one for sure.
It really is. We are diving into the world of Two Cage, A Wild Bird by Brooke Fast. Now, on the surface, this book, it kind of looks like your standard dystopian thriller.
Right. It's got the grit, the rebellion, all the usual suspects.
It does, but when I was going through the source material last night, what really hooked me, what really got me wasn't just the action, it was the economics.
It is the ultimate late-stage capitalism nightmare, isn't it?
That's the perfect way to put it.
I mean, it takes all the debates we're having right now about the privatization of justice and just
Yeah.
accelerates them right off a cliff.
A very, very steep cliff. We're looking at a reality where the prison system isn't just privatized. It's become the ultimate luxury resort.
Yeah.
It's a place where justice is completely monetized and survival is quite literally a spectator sport. It asks this terrifying question. What's the market value of a human life when the world is, effectively ending?
And the answer the book gives is, well, it's chillingly specific. It isn't calculated in dollars or gold or Bitcoin or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's calculated in teeth.
Ugh, the teeth. We are definitely going to get to the teeth economy. I still can't get that image out of my head, by the way.
It sticks with you.
It really does. But let's set the stage first. We need to understand the where before we can even begin to get our heads around the why. So walk us through the city of Dividium.
Right. So geographically, the text places us on what used to be the east coast of the United States. But we're looking at a timeline maybe 50, 60 years in the future.
Something like that.
And history took a very sharp left turn. There was a second civil war, which was then followed by extensive nuclear warfare.
So the map has basically been redrawn by radiation?
Completely. The source material refers to the area outside the city walls as the wastes. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a radiation hellscape.
Just barren land.
Totally. The earth is cracked, barren, toxic. Nothing grows there. So Dividium isn't just a city in the traditional sense. It's more like a lifeboat. It's pretty much the only habitable zone left in this entire region.
Which immediately creates this fascinating pressure cooker dynamic, right? Because when you can't leave, when the outside world is literally death, the people in charge inside those walls have absolute leverage. You can't just, pack up and move to the next town over.
Precisely. You are a captive audience. And the council, that's the ruling body in Dividium, they use that leverage to enforce this really rigid, almost caste-like sector system.
Okay, let's break down those sectors, because the geography here is the class system.
It's a perfect visual for it. It's like a vertical integration of inequality. You have the lower sector, which is, it's essentially the ruins of the old world.
The stuff that was left over.
Exactly. These are the crumbling brick buildings, the potholed streets. The text mentions that they're all doing manual labor jobs. There's constant starvation, and they have these strict curfews where the electricity is just cut off at night.
That detail about the electricity always gets me. It's not that they can't power the lower sector, it's that they choose not to.
Of course.
It's a daily reminder of who holds the switch.
It's pure psychological warfare.
Yeah.
Then you move up to the middle sector. This is for the functionaries, the protectors and innovators, as the book calls them.
The people who make it all run.
Your guards, the mid-level doctors, the people who keep the machine running. They have newly constructed buildings, consistent power, decent food.
The buffer class. Yeah, that's it.
The people with just enough comfort that they have something to lose so they won't rebel against the people at the very top. Exactly. And then you have the upper sector, the council, the army leaders, the top scientists. We're talking vast wealth, luxury, and crucially, security. But the tension between these sectors, it's not just about who has a nicer apartment. It's fundamentally about food.
Right.
And this is where the world building gets really, really interesting to me.
The soil revolt.
Yes. This is a key piece of the puzzle.
It sounds like a bad indie band, I have to say.
It does.
But in the book, it's this terrifying ecological event.
Right. So roughly 10 years before the story starts, the soil effectively just stopped working. It was a dormant side effect of all that radiation from the war. The crops became resistant to growth.
It's almost like the planet itself developed an immune response to humanity. It just said, nope, no more.
That's a great way to put it. So food scarcity isn't just a logistics issue, it's an existential crisis. The lower sector is surviving on grubs,
Literally insects.
Literally giant insects cooked over trash fires.
Yeah.
That and these ration bars that are described as having the consistency of compressed cardboard.
Yeah. But here's the political insight the author slips in, which I think is just brilliant. Is the scarcity, is it even real?
That is the million credit question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The council specifically, Councilors Elder, Baskin, and Pena, they claim they're doing everything they can. They claim this soil revolt is an unstoppable force of nature.
But there are rumors.
There are always rumors circulating in the lower sector.
Of course.
And the word on the street is that the council might be intentionally destroying crops or creating this artificial scarcity, all to frame a rebel group called the Collective.
It's the starvation strategy.
Explain that.
Well, if you're spending 100% of your caloric energy just trying to find a meal for your kid, you don't have the energy to build a guillotine.
Exactly. It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but weaponized.
Yes.
You keep them at the bottom rung, totally focused on physiological survival, so they can never look up and see the cage they're in. And right in the middle of this grinder, this is where we find our protagonist, Raven Thorne.
Raven is complicated. That's putting it mildly. I think a lot of readers, when you pick up a dystopian novel, you expect a Katniss Everdeen type, someone noble, defiant, maybe a bit reluctant, but ultimately heroic. Raven is not that.
No, Raven is a class traitor. Let's just be blunt about it. She is a bounty hunter in the lower sector.
Which means she isn't hunting the bad guys. She's hunting her own neighbors, people from her own community.
She tracks down desperate people fugitives who maybe stole a bit of food or broke a curfew, and she turns them in to the authorities for credits.
And the book gives us this haunting metric for her morality in the very first chapter, 127.
That's the count.
127 lives she has traded for a full belly. She has sent 127 people to prison, which, as we're about to learn, is basically a death sentence, just to feed herself and her younger brother, Jed.
And it's so easy to judge her for that.
I want to pause on that because it's so easy to sit back and say she's a villain. But the book forces you, the reader, to look at the three strikes law. This is not a normal legal system she's operating in.
No, it's zero tolerance taken to its most brutal extreme. If you're a minor, you get 3 chances. But they don't just give you a warning or put a note in your file.
No.
For every single crime, a guard takes a standard issue switchblade and carves a scar into your shoulder.
Physical branding, a permanent record on your skin.
Exactly. It ensures your criminal record is visible to every potential employer, every neighbor, everyone. And Raven has 2 strikes. And the really tragic part, one of them wasn't even hers.
She took the blame for Jed, right?
She did, years ago, when he was younger. That sacrifice is absolutely key to understanding her character. Because she has those visible scars on her shoulder, she is unhireable in the legitimate factories.
So she can't even get a basic job.
She can't get a job making those cardboard ration bars.
Yeah.
Bounty hunting wasn't the career choice she made because she liked the thrill. It was the only economic option left for her.
So she's completely trapped. She's protecting Jed, who is this sort of beacon of innocence in her life. But to protect him, she has to destroy everyone else around her. It's just a fantastic setup for a moral crisis.
And that crisis is coming for her fast.
Okay, so Section 3, the inciting incident. The House of Cards has to fall eventually, and it all starts with a specific arrest. Raven captures a guy named Torrin Bond.
And Torrin is a big catch. He's from the upper sector.
Which is rare.
Very rare for someone that wealthy to become a fugitive. Usually, their money and connections protect them.
But his crime, it's just so petty. It's high school drama, isn't it?
It's totally soap opera level drama, but with lethal consequences. Torrin reported his wife's lover to the authorities to get him sent to Endlock and killed. Then his wife found out and reported him.
A cycle of betrayal. But for Raven, Torrin just represents a massive payout. She's expecting 10,000 credits.
Which is life-changing money for someone who's been eating grubs.
Absolutely. That's real food for a year. That's a new coat for Jed. That's bribes to keep guards looking the other way.
It's huge money. But when she turns him into the Captain Flint, she gets shortchanged. She only gets 8,000 credits.
Why? What happened?
Because she damaged the goods. Torrin lost a tooth and got a black eye during the capture.
Hold on. This was the first moment in the source material where I actually felt physically sick. They docked her pay because the prisoner had a black eye.
Because, as we will learn in horrifying detail, the prisoners are products. and damaged packaging lowers the resale value.
That is just chilling. It really sets the tone for everything to come. They treated him like a damaged Amazon package. Item arrived broken. Partial refund issued.
It immediately commodifies the human body. It tells us that Thorne isn't a person to the state, he is inventory. And while Raven is arguing over this 2,000 credit discount, her brother Jed is getting into a fight that ends his life as a free man.
While she's distracted, she's actually at a tavern, Vern's Tavern, having a moment of weakness, drinking and flirting. Jed is at work, and he runs into trouble.
Not just any trouble, the worst possible kind. Counselor Baskin's son, a kid named Rold and Tornbond's son, the guy whose dad Raven just arrested, they show up to harass him.
Oh, no.
And Jed, being 18 now and technically an adult in this system, he defends himself.
And in this world, defending yourself against a counselor's son is a one-way ticket to doom.
Exactly. Because he punched Rold, Jed is immediately arrested. There are no 3 strikes for him, no trial. He is sent to Endlock on the evening transport, just like that.
So Raven comes home to find her brother gone, her absolute worst nightmare. The one thing she sacrificed 127 other people to prevent has finally happened.
And this forces her to do the one thing she swore she would never do: go back to the collective.
She meets with Aggie, who is her mother's friend, and they cut a deal.
And the deal is incredibly high stakes. The collective has a high-value asset inside the prison, a woman we only know as Kit. They need someone with combat skills, someone like Raven, to break Kit out and guide her to this place they call the North Settlement.
The North Settlement being the sort of mythical safe haven across the waste.
Right, so the exchange is this. Raven agrees to infiltrate Endlock by getting arrested on purpose.
Wow.
She saves Jed. In return, the collective will help them break out, but only if Raven can escort Kit to safety.
So she has to get arrested. How does a master bounty hunter get herself arrested?
She stages a theft. She steals from Aggie in the middle of the market, makes a huge scene so the guards can't possibly miss it, and boom, she's on the transport.
Heading straight to hell, or, as the brochure probably calls it, the Endlock experience.
And this brings us to what I think is the most disturbing and, frankly, fascinating part of the entire source material, the economics of Endlock.
Yeah. When I read this part, I actually had to put the notes down for a second because Endlock isn't just a prison, it's a resort.
It is the ultimate commercialization of suffering. The text describes the approach to the prison. It doesn't look like a dungeon or some concrete fortress. It looks like a 5-star hotel. There are fountains, there's a valet area.
Valet parking at a prison, just let that sink in.
And in the lobby, there are tourists, wealthy citizens from the upper sector just milling about.
Sipping cocktails, browsing a gift shop.
A gift shop. Are you serious?
I am dead serious. The text describes it in detail. They sell Endlock branded apparel, T-shirts that say things like the thrill of a lifetime.
Oh my God.
They sell maps of the hunting grounds. It's not just murder, it's commercialized murder as a vacation package. The ads even offer financing options for people to come hunt prisoners.
It reminds me of how people used to go have picnics at Civil War battles to watch. But this is fully monetized and participatory. Yeah. It completely sanitizes the violence for the consumer. They even have life-size cutouts of the CEO, Farrell Coates, that people are taking selfies with.
It's insane.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the currency. We teased it earlier. The teeth.
This is the most visceral symbol in the entire book. When a hunter kills an inmate during the games, they extract the teeth.
It's a trophy.
It's a status symbol. They wear them on gold chains. They have them set into cufflinks. There's a scene where someone has a tooth set in a diamond ring.
It's trophy hunting, but it's not antlers on a wall. It's human remains worn as jewelry.
It's the ultimate symbol of dominance. It's a way of saying, I consume this person's life. And it creates this secondary economy that is just, it's heartbreaking. The source notes mention that poor people in the city, people who can't afford the entry fee to go to Endlock, will pull their own teeth.
No.
And sell them on the black market to wealthy posers who want to look like hunters but don't actually have the skills.
That is horrifyingly plausible. It's the ultimate degradation. You mutilate yourself just to mimic the power of your oppressor. You want that status so badly, you'll literally rip a part of yourself out to get a taste of it.
It shows you how deep the indoctrination goes. Status is everything in Dividium. And inside the prison, the inmates themselves are commodities. They're ranked.
Like trading cards or something.
Pretty much. Tiers 1 through 10, you have the lower level. Ranks 1 to 3, they're the new arrivals, wearing gray uniforms. Middle level, 4 to 7, they wear brown uniforms. And the upper level, 8 to 10, they wear green.
The experienced survivors.
Exactly. And the higher your rank,
the more valuable you are.
The better the food you get, the more freedom you have inside the walls, and importantly, the higher the price tag for the hunter who eventually kills you. It actually incentivizes the prisoners to get better at surviving.
Which in turn makes them better sport for the hunters.
It's a completely self-perpetuating cycle of violence. If you're weak, you die fast and you're cheap. If you're strong, you live longer, you get fed better, but only so you can provide a premium experience for a wealthy hunter down the line.
It's just evil genius, in a way. So Raven arrives at this nightmare resort. Take us inside the walls. What is the intake process like?
Dehumanizing, that's the only word for it. Inmates are stripped, they're examined like livestock, and then they're branded.
Literally branded with a hot iron.
With a heated iron stamp. Raven becomes number 224. It's burned permanently into her forearm.
And during this process, she runs into a familiar face.
A veil.
Right. Now, Vale is interesting, because Raven met him briefly outside the prison right before she got herself arrested.
Yeah, they had a, let's call it a charged moment at the tavern. She thought he was just a stranger she could flirt with to forget her troubles for a night.
And then she finds out he's a guard.
But not just any guard. He's the guard who oversees her branding.
Talk about a bad second date.
Yeah, really. But there's more to Vale. Raven saw him meeting with rebels in the lower sector before she came in. So he's a guard, but he might be a double agent. He's a total mystery. And he treats Raven with this confusing mix of duty and care.
How so?
He brands her, yes, because he has to. It's part of his job. He has to maintain his cover.
Huh.
But then he immediately gives her ice water to soothe the burn when the other guards aren't looking.
So he's a puzzle. He represents the complicit enforcer who might secretly have a conscience.
Exactly. And inside, Raven starts to meet the rest of the cast.
She meets August, inmate 412. He's an upper-level rank 10, the top of the food chain.
He survived for 2 years, which is the record. He becomes a sort of reluctant mentor figure, explaining the social structure and the unwritten rules of the prison.
And she finds Kit, the person she's supposed to rescue.
She does. Kit is the collective's asset. She's an engineer, very intelligent, very observant, and she's in a relationship with another inmate, a woman named Yara.
And then there's Momo.
Ooh, Momo.
Momo broke my heart reading this. He's a 12-year-old boy.
A 12-year-old boy in a hunting preserve for wealthy tourists.
It just emphasizes the absolute lack of mercy in this system.
Yeah.
They don't care about your age. They only care about the product. And his crime was stealing food for his starving siblings.
And on the flip side of that innocence, you have Perry.
Carrie, the antagonist inside the walls.
She's a criminal. Raven actually arrested back in the day for selling fake medicine to sick people.
So Raven immediately runs into someone she put there. That can't be good.
It's not. Perry is not happy to see her. She basically runs the internal politics of the prison, the black market, all of it. And she attacks Raven in the showers almost immediately. It establishes that the danger isn't just from the hunters, it's from the other inmates too. Raven has enemies everywhere.
So the stage is set. Raven is inside. She's been branded. She's surrounded by enemies, old and new. And then comes the main event, the hunt.
Selection day.
Walk us through this. How does it work?
Well, the hunters walk the cell blocks like they're browsing at a pet store or a high-end butcher shop. They look at the inmates through the bars, and they choose their prey for the day.
And Raven, being Raven, she doesn't just cower in the corner hoping not to be picked.
No, not at all. She needs to get out onto the hunting grounds to find Jed. So she actively antagonizes the hunters to make sure she gets picked.
She taunts them.
She does. She sees a young boy who's there with his very wealthy, arrogant father. And this boy, this child hunter, he selects a teenage girl who is clearly a weak target.
And Raven can't let that happen.
She intervenes. She insults the father's hunting skills. She insults the boy. She basically paints this giant, unmissable target on her own back.
And it works. She gets picked.
She does. And this leads us to the mechanics of the hunting grounds themselves. It's all very high-tech horror.
Or the wristbands.
Everyone wears a wristband. If your light is green, you're a target. The guns, which are all smart guns, will fire at you. If your light is red, you're safe or you're a guard. The guns mechanically lock up and won't fire.
And there's a force field. It's like a video game.
It's exactly like a battle royale video game. It's this invisible magnetic field that acts like a shrinking map. Every 30 minutes, it contracts, herding all the targets toward the center of the grounds.
And if you touch the force field...
Excruciating pain. The book describes it like electricity and 1,000 needles coursing through your veins.
You can't just hide at the edge of the map. You have to keep moving toward the center.
Yeah.
What's at the center?
The blood tree.
That's an ominous name.
Very. The goal of the hunt is to reach the blood tree. If you can make it there and touch it, the sensors in the tree turn your wristband red. You're safe. The hunt is over for you for that day.
So Raven is released from a metal stall onto the grounds. The clock starts ticking.
And she finds Jed almost immediately. But instead of just running straight for safety, for the tree, Raven does something incredibly strategic. She uses her head start time to inspect the perimeter fence.
She's already planning the breakout.
Exactly. She's not just trying to survive today. She's trying to survive forever. She's not playing to win this one round. She's playing to break the entire game.
But the game fights back. They hear a scream. It's Momo.
The 12-year-old. He's been cornered. He's trapped up in a tree by a hunter. And this is the pivot point for Raven's soul. The old Raven, the one who sold 127 of her neighbors, she would have kept running.
And Jed wants to help.
Jed wants to help, but he doesn't have the combat skills. Raven realizes she has to be the one to do it. It's on her.
She has to play the hero, even though she keeps telling herself she's just a selfish survivor.
And she does. She jumps from a high branch in another tree, it's a total action movie move, and lands on the hunter. She disarms him using a heavy branch and then knocks him out with a rock or a kick. She saves the kid.
And in doing so, she totally exposes herself to other hunters. But then she runs into Vale again.
In the middle of the woods. And this is the moment that confirms his allegiance. He hides her from a group of pursuing hunters, pulling her behind a tree. He warns her that the force field is about to move. And he admits he owes her because she didn't expose his meeting with Eris, the rebel leader.
So they have this very uneasy alliance. But the hunt isn't over. They still have to get to the blood tree.
And this brings us to Section 7, the climax of the hunt, the brutality of Verona.
Verona is a famous hunter, right? Like a celebrity killer in this sick, twisted world.
She is. She's the best of the best, so to speak, and she has captured Torrin Bond.
The man Raven arrested right at the beginning of the story.
The guy with the missing tooth. And Verona isn't just killing him, she's torturing him. She's dragging it out, making a show of it. It's just gratuitously cruel.
And Raven, Jed, and Momo, they stumble upon this horrific scene right near the blood tree.
They do. And here's another moral dilemma for them. Jed, who still has this pure, unbroken heart, he wants to try and save Torrin. But Raven refuses.
She has to prioritize the group. Herself, Jed, Momo, their survival comes first.
She knows they can't save everyone. And then Verona. She shoots Torrin. Inches away from the safety of the blood tree.
That is just heartbreakingly cruel, to let him get that close.
And then she calmly gets on her radio to call it in, to collect her money. She even mentions the missing tooth, saying it will probably lower the payout she gets for his teeth. It brings that whole economic theme full circle in the absolute bloodiest way possible. Even in his last moments, he is just an invoice.
So Torrin is dead. Now Raven, Jed, and Momo have to make the final sprint across the clearing to the tree.
They dash for it. August is already there, he's safe, and he's signaling for them to hurry. But a hunter, the father of the boy from the selection earlier, he takes aim at Raven.
It's down to the wire.
It is. The text describes him pulling the trigger. But Raven's hand touches the bark of the tree just as the gun clicks.
The safety mechanism engages.
Her wristband turns red. She survives by a fraction of a second.
Wow. I can feel my heart rate going up just talking about it. So they survive the hunt, but there have to be consequences.
Oh, yeah. Section 8, the aftermath. The warden, a man named Larch, is furious.
Because Raven knocked out a hunter earlier to save Momo.
Exactly. A hunter, a paying customer, was injured by the product. That is very bad for business. So Larch interrogates Momo, trying to find out who hurt the hunter.
And the kid lies.
He steps up. In a huge moment of bravery, he claims he acted alone, that he did it all by himself. And Raven and Jed, they immediately back him up. It's this beautiful moment of solidarity.
And back in the mess hall, that alliance is solidified. Raven, Jed, August, Kit, Momo, Yara. They're a team now, a found family.
But the prison reminds them of the ever-present danger almost immediately. Another inmate is beaten senseless by the guards just for taking an extra ration of stew.
Just to keep them all in line.
Yeah.
A reminder that surviving one day doesn't guarantee your safety the next.
Right. Kit, who is still an idealist, wants to intervene, but August stops her. It's a harsh reality check. You can't save everyone. You have to play the long game if you want to win.
And we get one final mystery before we close out this part of the story.
The connection between August and Vale. August reveals that Vale, the head guard, was the one who changed Jed's work schedule to match theirs, allowing them all to be together. He did it as a favor.
So the top-ranked inmate and the head guard are secretly working together.
It confirms a secret alliance at the highest levels of the prison's internal structure. And it sets the stage for this escape attempt that we know has to be coming.
Wow. Okay, let's unpack all of this, because there is so much here. What are the key takeaways from this deep dive? If you're the listener, what's the big picture here?
For me, I think the first big takeaway is the character arc of Raven. She starts as a complete solitary survivalist. 127 lives for a full belly. She tells herself over and over that she doesn't care about anyone but Jed. But by the end of this deep dive, she's become a reluctant leader.
She is. She's protecting Momo. She's aligning with Kit. She's becoming the very thing she pretended for so long not to be.
And secondly, I think it's the ecosystem of Endlock itself.
It's fascinating, and it's horrifying. It's a powerful critique of dehumanization for profit.
It is. When you turn a justice system into a revenue stream, you inevitably, and maybe necessarily, turn human beings into inventory. The teeth, the rankings, the gift shop. It's satire, but it's barely exaggerated when you look at some historical examples of exploitation.
It really forces you to look at where we draw the line between justice and business in our own world.
Exactly. And I think the final takeaway is about complicity. Raven starts as a collaborator. She is part of the system that's oppressing her own people. The story argues that you can't really dismantle a system until you stop profiting from it. Her redemption only begins when she stops selling people and starts saving them, even at great personal risk.
It's like that line from the book, "To cage a wild bird is to break its wings, but to free it is to risk the sky."
Beautifully put.
And we didn't even really get to the mystery of the North Settlement or what Kit is really hiding, why she's so important. But I think we're out of time.
You'll have to read the book for that part.
So let's leave our listeners with this final provocative thought. In a world where your value is determined by the credits on your wrist or the teeth around a hunter's neck, is it even possible to maintain your humanity? Or does survival require you to become a monster yourself?
That's the question at the heart of it all.
Consider this your primer. The stack is deep, but we found the gold. Thanks for diving in with us.
Stay curious.